having a couple of technical difficulties. I think we're good now, though. So anyway, what's up, Ben Adler? How are you? All right, guys. Let me see. I have the list of attendees here. I was looking for my guests. Let me bring them on here. Let me see. Panelists. Make co-host. Trying to do this. I hope this is going to work. We'll see. Let's see. All right. Boom. There you are.
What's happening?
How are you, man?
Man, doing great today. Great day today.
Me too. I got this ring light. I realized looks like I'm in like bright sunlight for some reason. You know what I mean?
Right. It's quality. I literally just ordered my ring light. I should have already had one. I've got some LED lights, but they don't look as good as yours.
It's cool, man. It's good stuff. But so guys, welcome tonight. If you're on this Zoom, this webinar, if you will, it's because you're a real estate professional. Okay, you're either a real estate agent, you're a real estate investor, or like me, you're both. And the whole purpose of tonight is really to explain a nationwide project. It's a nationwide expansion. What we're looking to do here over the next few months, really rolling this into the new year, which is coming up quick, right? 2020, and see how we can work together. So what I'm doing is I'm putting together a team. I invited Jay on tonight to talk about how we're partnering together and what he's doing. So I guess the takeaway to get started is that this is a message for investors and agents. So if you're here as an investor, you're thinking, well, you know, isn't Jay like a master agent and working with EXP and all that? Yeah, he is, and that's one small component. If you're an agent, obviously, we want to show you how you can work with investors and partner with the people that we're putting together on this team. So there's a real good synergy, guys. There's a good connection. You know, it's one of those interesting things. I think I wanted to preface when I invited all you guys that, you know, you guys know I sold a short sale course, did a lot of coaching and mentoring over the years. And of course, we'd run webinars, and that's how we would sell our products. We would sell our courses and trainings and coaching through webinars. And at the end of the webinar, there would be a link and say, click here and take out your credit card and buy. And I wanted to give you peace of mind, okay? There's nothing here to buy tonight. There's no link going to show up and say, put your credit card in. This is just a discussion. This is a discussion amongst two real estate professionals, what we're doing together, how we're looking to grow, and to see if what we're about to do is a good fit for you and a good fit for us. I mean, that's really all it is. So this is our second time doing this. We did this last Tuesday night. We probably won't do one next Tuesday, but because we're going to be filtering through and working with a lot of people who've raised their hand and said, hey, look, I'm interested in this, and I'm an agent, I'm an investor, I'm both, et cetera. But we just kind of want to have a casual conversation here tonight and just kind of give you an idea of what we're doing from both perspectives, because guys, there's a lot of overlap, right? I mean, if you think about it, let me cut right to the chase. It all comes down to inventory. It all comes down to houses for both of us, for all of us. See, because if you're an agent, you need listings, right? I mean, you need listings, and if you're working with buyers, you need houses to show them. If you're an investor, you want access to discounted inventory so you can then flip it, buy and hold, whatever the case may be. So what we're putting together here, utilizing technology, utilizing a brand new platform that technically didn't even roll out yet. Jay, I know we spoke, I think it was yesterday. I did speak to my buddy Patton, waiting to hear back from Ted. I know with the whole Express Offers platform, which is going to be nationwide, guys, which is what we're talking about. The long and short of it is this, and Jay, please fill in any blanks where I'm wrong, but my understanding is this platform is going to start with about 6 states. California is definitely one of them, about 6 states, but it's going to roll out nationwide. And what it's going to do is take discounted inventory, people who are looking to sell their home, quick offers, cash offers, et cetera, which is where the agents come in. So we're not cutting out you agents. We need you agents, okay? And then partnering them up with everything from institutional buyers to individual investors so they can buy at a discount. So, you know, a lot of different platforms that have been rolled out over the years would cut out the real estate agent, which is not what we want to do. We want to make sure the real estate agent is a part of this transaction, working with the investors and vice versa. But I have a unique proposition that we wanted to discuss specifically for you investors. We'll get to a little bit later on in how you can partake in yet another stream of income. So in regards, and I know you were just out at the convention, right, Jay? You were out there in Vegas.
Yep, Las Vegas.
Any more details you can share? I mean, it's just in its beginning.
I think one of the unique things about what EXP is doing is they're a platform more so than just a brokerage. They're a platform to for you to be able to leverage and connect investors with real estate agents that have properties, that have deals on the market, things of that nature. But in more than that, just in every facet of the business, they've just become a platform in a way for us to really become aligned and work together. And so, one of the things that I've always found most interesting, I went to Warren Buffett's event, the shareholder event a couple years ago, and it was him and Charlie Munger, and they're sitting down there, and there's a full stadium full of people. I mean, there's tens of, probably, I don't know, 20, 30,000 people there. It was a ton of people. And they had a conversation about Wells Fargo at the time, which was having issues with these fake accounts that were getting created.
Fraud.
Right, exactly. And so the interesting thing was, they let anybody ask a question. This guy asked the question. He said, "Well, what banker, are you going to be moving to since Wells Fargo's got all the this fraud going on and everything else?" And real quickly, the first thing that Warren Buffett said, without even really thinking, and this is why he's like drinking a Coke and eating See's candy, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like literally eating, and drinking from the companies he's invested in. But he said, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Wells Fargo is a great company. They've been around, 100 plus years. And, we're probably going to get a phone call tomorrow from one of the companies we're invested in that has done something stupid. He said, the first thing that I look at is, where was the compensation misalignment that would have caused that type of behavior? And, on the flip side of that, it points to the thing we've always heard is compensation drives behavior. Where there's compensation in alignment, now there's a way for, changing the behavior of entire groups of people. In this scenario with EXP, where we're becoming partners with everyone that ends up partnering with us in this venture one way or another, whether you see it from an investment standpoint or from a real estate standpoint. We're financially, you become our opportunity and our responsibility, but there's this financial alignment in this business model that I've never seen in any real estate application, for us to all work together, and to help each other be successful together. And the more that we help everyone that joins us win, the more we win. And that's a pretty special thing. But it was fascinating to me to see, someone as brilliant. And of course, I've seen Charlie Munger's 25 biases that him and Warren have put out. And that was like one of the number one ones, but like to see it in action, like that he literally makes decisions based on financial alignment, was a big deal to me. And as I was looking at this model, saying how brilliant it was that they have this alignment where now you and me would be partners with anyone that joins us and have a financial interest in people's success as well, which I think is just, it's the reason that this thing is working so well.
It's funny. I think, for the people, I invited people from Facebook that I'm friends with and people that are on my email list. Maybe they bought my course or just following me. We've been working together for years. A lot of people I've partnered with, hundreds, if not thousands of people. But maybe some people don't know who you are, and when we come from two unique worlds, I come from the investing background, although I'm an agent.
Right.
I'm primarily an investor, educator, all that. You come from the real estate agent side, and here we are working together, these two worlds colliding, right? Why don't you give us a little background, a few bullets on what you've done? I mean, and to be completely honest, Jay, it's funny. When I saw that video you put out, why partner with us or why work with us? Specifically, you were talking about you and your team. And you went through in a few slides some of your accomplishments. And I got to say, I was extremely impressed. I've worked with quite a few agents, mega agents over the years. You're right up there, bro, if not like one of the top in the nation. So, I mean, if you can pat yourself on the back for a few minutes, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. It's always, I'm a pretty humble guy, but, I think I've, like most people, got in real estate and struggled a little bit to figure it out. And I spent a lot of money I paid everybody. If you had something to sell, I bought it. Yeah. And I always learned from that. It was always, I was one of those, maybe I was lucky, but when I invested in myself or invested in something, there was something that I always took away from it that kept me wanting to continue to learn and invest in learning more. And as I, learned as much as I could from everybody within the industry, went outside the industry, mentored with Jay Abraham, Dan Kennedy, Frank Kern, a lot of the really expensive gurus that are out there that are kind of the gurus that taught the gurus, and learned a tremendous amount from them. But in my real estate business, I'm from Lawton, Oklahoma. It's a small town, just inside basically north of Wichita Falls, Texas, south of Oklahoma City, and 100,000 people maybe in the community. And I think the more interesting things was I used to compete with a Remax team that was in the top 10 in the world. So I became number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker, and for several years was in the number 2 spot.
Stop. You come from this little cowboy town. No offense, I'm a Yankee, okay?
Yeah.
No doubt. I almost said redneck, but I want to
by horse and buggy.
I almost said redneck, but I don't want to offend anybody. I always joke with my Southern friends.
That fit me, that's for sure. That's literally like that's pretty much well described of what I am for sure.
But dude, think about it. You come from this little town. It's not like you're saying I was from Miami. I was from New York City. 100,000 people, and you become the number 2 coal banker agent in the world.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's fascinating.
How did you do that?
Man, it is relentless pursuit of growth and just getting better. Honestly, the thing that's funny was that Remax team, when I was selling, my peak was 531 homes in 1 year. Wow. And at that time, the Remax team that I compete against was selling 700 plus homes a year. So I wasn't even number 1 ever in my own market, which I'm still very pissed off about, to be quite honest with you. But I had a really good competitor that I had to learn how to compete against. And I think that's really what made me better than anything, was because if I was number 1 and hadn't, really had no competition, it would have probably been, really easy. But I had, about 14% market share. And between the two of us, it was like, I felt like I competed against them every day. But as as the story goes, a good friend of mine, Mike Reese, who's also from Lawton, Oklahoma, he ran into me at Lake Texoma, and I grew up around go fast boats and fountains and cigarette boats and stuff like that, and not on them, but like seeing them at the lake. And I wanted one, so I got one as soon as I could afford one, and my banker would let me get it. Which was probably like 23 years old, and Mike saw me on this boat and was like, "Man, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I sell real estate." The rest of that day was spent answering Mike's questions, a barrage of questions. And Mike's a real sharp cat. He's a real quick, he figures things out really quick. And so he quit his job managing the Bally's in Dallas that weekend, and he quit. And he basically called me every day and asked me what to do. And I think that, the way I used to think about it was, I didn't know what I'd done to be successful because I did so many things that didn't work. Like I could have told you, do this, 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 and this. I had to really think about it. And so as he was making decisions and asking me questions, I would say, no, don't do that. Doesn't work. Do this. No, invest here. Don't do that. No, hire this person. Don't hire that. And Mike grew his business to like $1 million in GCI in 3 years, and half the time it took me. And so we were both like pretty puzzled. Basically we're like, hey, if a couple knuckleheads from Oklahoma could do it, anybody could do it. Was probably more what we were thinking, but we became pretty passionate just about helping other agents build successful businesses. And part of my passion was because I had built it, and it was so hard for me. As I built it, I became more stuck in the business. It wasn't being ran like a business, and I needed the mentorship outside the industry to help me get my head around, like, how do I make this a real business and not like a job, really high paid job. And so I was really, like, I wanted to have more time, what I'm saying? As more success I had, the more time I didn't have, and with family and friends and doing the things I enjoyed. And so that was really became the passion that we had, was around helping other people build businesses and ultimately lifestyles that, that would, they could do what they want when they want, with whoever they want. Yeah. And so that's, we parlayed that kind of into a coaching and training company that, we did a deal with, basically celebrity endorsements on radio. So I had a company with a friend of mine. It's called Radio and Television Experts. We did Barbara Corcoran endorsements for radio station for real estate agents. We did Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, anybody from ESPN, anybody that was either local celebrity or a national celebrity. We do endorsements for real estate agents and help that agent kind of become the dominant agent in the marketplace, and we would coach them as well. And so that became, kind of part of our business. Was like we would take an agent and help them become the dominant agent in their marketplace. And we did that we've done that for years, and still have a coaching and consulting company that does that. And ultimately, that was kind of really the holy grail for us, was partnering with real estate agents. We were partnering with agents around the country at the time. This was a concept that Jay Abraham gave us. He said, don't just build a coaching company, which we had to do just to monetize, to get to the point where we could actually have, it's one thing to say, hey, this is how I did it. It's another thing to build principles and teach, and be able to teach it based on principles. And so it took us a while to figure all that out. A while meaning about 12 years. And
well, let me pause you there. I think that's a key in what you just said, because a lot of times when people think about educators, or dare I say gurus, especially in today's day and age, you see so many frauds. You talk about fraud, Wells Fargo, right? So many people that come up, and next thing you know, they're creating a course, and I'm going to coach you, I'm going to mentor you. And like, I did over 300 deals before I even created my course. So
right.
in short sales. So when I partnered with Jeff Watson, we started teaching people how to flip short sales, wholesale them, do everything that we did. I had the credibility. I knew I was already an expert in the field. So when I started working with people, I was showing them pretty much what I did. You know what I'm saying? It's not just some theory. Okay, here's what I've done. and interestingly enough, right around that same time, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, you're doing the same thing, but on the agent side.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, exactly the same time frame. And you, of course, I'm trying to step out of my real estate business during the downturn of 7 and 8, which I had to pivot to learning short sales and like, I remember going on appointments. I would try to step out of the business and I would get thrown back in. I would actually we actually coined a phrase for that. We call it the bitch slap, when you get slapped back into your business when you don't really want to be.
Right.
And it's a very violent slap. I mean, it's like getting let out of prison and then having to go back on Monday back to prison is what it feels like. And so I had to jump back in my business 3 different times to get it off of life support, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of the business and it still be sustainable. And that was really the whole kind of focus. But that was just the challenge of going through the downturn. And I remember going on 10 listing appointments, and out of 10, I needed to short sell or send to the rental department 9 of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's no way this is going to work. I mean, I've got to figure out short sales, and I had to learn, the process, and I never really probably mastered it like you have, but I definitely learned how to work within, what the market was. But going through that downturn, we were also training real estate agents as well. So it was a humbling experience. Also, during that time, I lost my right-hand man, like my operator guy, I had developments. Everything I had was in real estate. Developments, I had 22 rental properties. I was basically to the max. Like I told you the story the other day, it got so tight in 07 that I canceled my $7.99 Netflix. Like, that's how bad it got. So, like, you can never take those war wounds away from me. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, because I know that I can survive anything because I survived that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was that tough. But, and all of that taught me the things that I needed to learn to truly run a business like a business. And that's what helped me get to the point where I could help other agents, build a successful and a sustainable business. And it's also where my passion comes from. I mean, when you've been through the ringer, what I'm saying, like that, you tend to, to really care about what you're doing and helping people avoid that pain.
Right. And then if you fast forward, obviously, coaching, mentoring, doing everything, but still being an active agent, still running all of your deals and closings and everything you've been doing, leading by example, which I think is important. I've never stopped doing deals. Granted, I don't have 100 in a pipeline like I used to, but I've always, even to this day, maintain about, half a dozen deals. But I'm not even coaching anymore. But the point is, December of 17, so coming up on 2 years ago, I guess about 22 months ago, everything changed for you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because this is, and investors, hold on. A lot of you investors may be sitting there watching saying, what the hell does this have to do with me? Hang tight. It's coming.
Hang tight. Yeah, trust me. If money is if money is important to you, then you want to pay attention.
Right. So what happened, man? Tell us about the evolution.
So we had been working with Jay Abraham since 2006 on an idea he called Partner. And basically what Jay said was, he said, listen, you guys are young enough to know that y'all your business isn't worth, it isn't worth more than 1.5 times EBITDA. Essentially, I can build a big real estate business, but it's going to basically, in fact, 1.5 times plus, they're going to ask you to stay on for a couple years. We had somebody the other day that got an offer on a pretty good sized business. They were asked to stay on for 5 years. So they weren't even buying them with their own money. If you follow the money trail there, which is just pathetic. So you spend our whole lives building these real estate businesses, and there's no real exit strategy. And so we were partnering with agents, and we had built the mechanism for, essentially what all real estate agents need. They need the marketing, they need the differentiated value proposition, they need the systems, they need everything kind of built and really kind of put in place for them. And if they could pay for someone to do all the marketing and make all the calls and set up somebody and then set up their personal brand in the marketplace as the go-to agent, that's just what we did. And long story short, we built an association and leveraged that, and we used Dan Kennedy to help us build all that stuff. And it's brilliant. And honestly, it was brilliant. It took us forever to do, but it's what no one else in the market had done. And so as we were partnering with agents across the country, we recognized one of our top agents in our group was thinking about going to EXP, and we're like, well, what are you thinking? And we had seen it a couple times, and I think this is most people. They see EXP and they think they understand what it is. It's a real estate brokerage. It's this. It's whatever, right? Like, they come up with their own conclusion of what it is. I had done the same thing, and thought that I understood the model. And he asked me to poke holes in it. He said, Jay, his name's Al Stasek. He's a good friend of mine, really good friend, probably one of our best clients. We took him from like 40 transactions to over 500 transactions. And we helped build his company and his success.
You coached him basically.
Yeah. This was one of our top clients, and he tells us he's leaving to go EXP, like leaving the herd, so to speak. Yeah. And we're like, well, that's, he wanted me to poke holes in it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll happily poke holes in it. And I remember it was Riggs, my son, he's 6 now, but it was his 4th birthday. And, I spent 4 hours on the phone with Al, and I when I'd seen the model, I understood some things that I'd missed before about, it was really more of a platform than it was just a real estate brokerage. And the opportunity for us to become in alignment with this model meant that we could basically do all the stuff that we used to charge a lot of money for to do, and we could partner with agents in this model, and we could we could help them with the systems that we used to create for helping agents become successful. We could also use to leverage their compensation model for how you get paid for recruiting to the company. And recruiting is like, for those of you investors that are listening, like recruiting is the number one challenge of every real estate agent, team, brokerage. Like it's recruiting and retention. If you build a team, your best people are going to ultimately leave you. And, because there's a misalignment of compensation. You're on a 50-50 split, and, why would, they're always going to want more money. And then eventually they always leave you. And it's always a bittersweet kind of moment because you kind of built their success, and then there's no upside. Well, at EXP, there's a revenue share program that allows you to, earn revenue share in 7 generations, much like you would find in network marketing. I know that's a dirty word as far as some people look at it, but if you understand network marketing's compensation plans, it's not a dirty word. It's the most brilliant thing you would ever have seen, because it's the highest leverage of any kind of compensation that you could ever earn. You get paid off of other people's efforts. And I
had a conversation, Jay, with somebody today speaking about that. And I said, if you consider a network marketing model, there's more of an ongoing residual type compensation based upon purchases. This is more of a tiered affiliate model, because you're only compensated when someone actually, surprise, sells a house.
Right.
And so, and it's so funny. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, listen, if you really stop and think about it, realtors are going to sell homes anyway. They're going to list, they're going to work with buyers. This is what they do. This is how they feed their kids.
Right. Yeah, this is not introducing something new to them.
No, it's nothing new. It's not like try my product. It's like, okay, dude, keep doing what you're doing, but make more money. Oh, and tell other people, and then you make money on their efforts too. Like again, I'm an agent, but I'm more of an investor. And once I got that model in my head, I'm like, this is brilliant. No wonder why it's exploding.
Let me explain why this model is so disruptive. So it's like when you think about, first of all, EXP is a cloud-based brokerage. A lot of people think cloud-based brokers, what does that mean? Why does that matter? So when you think about why do we use Netflix and not go to Blockbuster? Well, because it's easier, more convenient for us to binge watch on Netflix than it is to drive to a store, right? And why do we buy everything? I ordered 17 items on Amazon today, literally 17 items. And so why do I do that? Well, I would have had to go into multiple different stores to buy those same items, and probably would have paid more. So it's more convenient for me to on Amazon. And when you think about the brokerage model to real estate agents, it serves the real estate agent, not the real estate consumer. The agent serves the consumer. You are the brand to the consumer. The brokerage provides value only to the agent. It has nothing to do with what happens to the consumer. A lot of people don't really put 2 and 2 together there, but and it's one of the only industries that's like that, meaning that the agent controls the consumer experience, meaning no matter where you go, it doesn't matter what's on your sign. The clients are going to follow you, not the brokerage, because you could have a good agent or a bad agent in any brokerage because they don't manage the experience. So different than if you go to McDonald's, you're going to get pretty close to the same exact thing every McDonald's you go to. McDonald's manages the consumer experience. Brokerages do not. So that's why when you ask somebody the question, well, tell me the difference between a Remax and a Keller Williams company. The consumer doesn't know the difference. One's balloons, one's maroon, right? Like there's no value prop difference. It's not like Ruth's Chris and McDonald's. I know the difference between the two. Right. And so, that's the business model of real estate has been traditionally for years they franchise, they sell a region for $500,000. And that region is responsible for going and building out franchisees, and the franchisees are going to go build bricks and mortar. And it's a slow process. Get some commits, and then they'll go commit to the bricks and mortar. And that's why it takes 30 years to grow brokerage. And then they go recruit agents, right? And they hire someone to do that, and they recruit agents. It's all a recruiting model. Every real estate company is a recruiting model. They're all recruiting models. And then these agents pay royalties back up to the top, 6 or 8%. back up to the top, and ownership will split that money with the revenue share. They revenue share with the region, whoever owns that region. So the regional opportunity, which is I've met like 3 people that ever owned a part of a region. There's not, and those opportunities are long gone for years. But that was the real opportunity. Like the highest level opportunity in real estate was to own a region of a big growing franchise. Well, when you create a cloud-based company, you eliminate that whole hundreds of millions of dollars in the model. No bricks and mortar. We're not going to build bricks and mortar. We don't have a region that's going to go get franchisees. There's no limitations, no walls of where you can recruit, none of that stuff. And so what Glenn said was, what we want to do is we want to make Glenn understands one thing, that the agents are what grow a company. The agents are who bring the business. And so he wanted to make agents owners. So he took the company public, which is the first thing he did that was dramatically different than anything else. The company's a publicly traded company on NASDAQ. Go look at the last 3 years history. It's done well. And so that was the first thing that he did, was take it public. And he did it because he wanted to create shares for the agents in the company that produce. And so they created stock awards so that agents, when they produce, they get shares when they close their first deal. They get shares when they cap. They get shares when they bring a friend that closes their first deal. And they get ultimately the $16,000 cap for agents. This is a $16,000 cap. It's an 80-20 split. If you hit certain production requirements, you can actually earn that $16,000 you paid into the cap back in stock. So they're all super attractive to agents. Like if you're a real estate agent, you're somewhere else and you're hearing these things, you're like, wait a minute, I get stock in a publicly traded company. Well, I don't get that where I'm at now.
Dude, wait, you know what the biggest thing I think people don't realize, and I have to interject there, is I was talking to, because I work with realtors all day long. And I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of the CXP? Well, I heard about that, but nobody ever really took the time to thoroughly understand it. And there were so many misconceptions. Like my buddy Ken, who may be watching right now, we were out together in Salt Lake City, and he's like, wait a minute, you mean I can talk to agents? Because I know people in Texas, I know people in California, I know people. I'm like, dude, it's nationwide. Right. So you just tell somebody how they can work a better model, get into like the year 2019, almost 2020, and you can get paid for their efforts, not hurting them. The company pays you. And he was like, are you serious?
Right.
This is a big player. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. They don't get. Yeah, most real estate agents, this is the first thing they think when they think about recruiting. Well, I'm not really a recruiter. And we of course, first of all, they call it agent attraction for a reason. It doesn't matter who you are. If you move to EXP, there's going to be a lot of people that reach out to you and ask you about EXP, because people hear about it at the service level and they don't really know it. But if they know you and they trust you, they're going to ask you about, hey, well, why'd you move over? Right. And so what we did was we saw a huge opportunity. Here's what happened. I saw a guy. His name's Rob Flick. He's in the company. He was one of the top guys at Keller Williams, and he came over to EXP and he did the exact same thing that he did at Keller Williams at EXP. He went and started doing lunch and learns. And I was like, so y'all don't have a single webinar? He's like, no. And I'm like, so you built this thing. He showed me his revenue share check, and it was for the month. It was $155,000. He'd been in the company 2.5 years. I said, so you have $155,000 this month in revenue share from the agents you brought into the company, and you telling me you brought 32 at the time, and that 32 brought how many ever, people that was underneath him. Then it was a lot. It was a couple thousand, probably 3,000. Actually, it was just over 2,000, 2,400, something like that. And you made 155,000, and you did it by doing lunch and learns, basically. And that was the way they had to do it back in the early 2000s. There was no technology, and so he did the same thing that worked before. But what I saw was, man, we're really good at marketing. I mean, we were spending at the time with our partner opportunity and things we were doing. We were spending $125,000 a month on Facebook. We know how to market. We know how to put butts in seats. We know how to. There's a lot of skills we have that we're starting to see. Like nobody in this company had really figured out how to do this correctly, and the company was growing so fast that they weren't trying to solve this problem to help you do recruiting. They were trying to just keep the wheels between the ditches. And so we saw an opportunity to basically leverage everything we built and come in and build systems to help people do agent attraction and do it the right way, and basically show them ways to partner with us all together, and essentially without ever having to without ever having to talk to somebody that doesn't want to talk to you first, without ever having to give a presentation, and without ever having to answer their questions. We showed people how to recruit and build a passive income at EXP. And so, if you're an investor and you're always looking for opportunity, show me an opportunity. This month, my revenue share grew by 10% this month. So if, our brains don't do this kind of math, and you couldn't even figure it out. Like, it's like, a penny a day doubled every day is $5,300,000 and something, right? So that's compounding, right? That would have never been a number I would have guessed.
So wait, your revenue share this month grew by 10%.
By 10%, right?
Now you're not going to say this, but I will. Okay, so Jay showed me and I hope it's okay me saying this,
Sure.
he made over 6 figures, guys, last month.
Right.
Last month, he made 6 figures on revenue, not counting his investors, his property, not counting the deals he closed because he's still an active agent. Just on the revenue share, which means by referring people to this brokerage, he made over 6 figures, which means you're making 7 figures on that piece alone.
Oh, yeah. That was a light month. So,
that's like when I talk to people about that, they're like, "How many houses do you have to flip? How much involvement? And what did you do for that?"
Zero capital. That's the thing that there's 2 things about this model that once you really sink your teeth into it to understand is, number one, I have zero capital investment and I have nothing to manage. I used to have 40 employees, a $10 million company. We netted about 15% margin. That means I'm making $1.5 million a year. Me and Mike split it. That's $750, living on about $450 after taxes. Mm-hmm. Not bad. It's not bad. But how long would it have taken me to create a 6-figure passive income? I would have had to have done it for 46 years. I did the math. I was like, in my first 5 months, I was at $25,000 a month. And I said, I know what I'm doing the rest of my life because there's nothing else that created an opportunity. If I can make it 2 turns to 25, I knew I could get it to any number of basically. I mean, it was a huge opportunity. Right. And so, and then the second piece of this is that it compounds and it's not with your own effort. And anytime you can get that kind of leverage, it's just an opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. The company is phenomenal. And, I thought maybe, all this value that we add is going to be what has to happen for people to want to stay at EXP. Not true. People come to EXP, they love it. They love the company. They love the stock. They love all the training and all the support. The technology that gets provided is better than anything else. The cap is only 16,000. It's better than any other company. Like, they're winning on every front. All we do is add another layer of opportunity for people that want to really seriously grow the passive income side of it. And we pour gas on that flame and help you build it. And for people that want to build passive income, it's just a number. It's a people game. People, once you show enough people this opportunity and you leverage the tools that we have for doing it, you're gonna do well. And that's the opportunity.
And that's guys, if you're a real estate agent and you're watching this, like, maybe you didn't understand before. I mean, I had friends of mine in the investor community, realtor community over the last 3 years. Oh, have you ever heard of EXP? I'm like, I heard of them, whatever, man. Oh, you ought to check this out. No, thanks, I'm good. Like, because my license is in referral. We run everything through my wife's license. So I just, whatever. And a lot of people watch this, be like, yeah, well, I heard of that, whatever, But when you stop, and as a businessman or businesswoman, take time and say, listen, here is the situation, and you look at growth. One of the biggest things, if you can put yourself in front of a trend that's going viral, if you can put yourself in front of the trend, and that's the key to everything in life, guys. People ask me all the time, like, oh, Brian, I see you're doing this health and wellness company and the gel and this keto drink, and you're using the products too, right?
Yeah.
But because, guys, I don't want to pigeonhole myself and say, Brian Meara is this real estate guru expert. No, I own an IT consulting firm. I own ownership in a restaurant. I have rental properties. I believe in being an entrepreneur. So if I want to brand myself, who is Brian Meara? I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I jump. I take immediate action when I see opportunity. And when I finally sat down and looked at this, I said, my God, with the amount of agents that I know, with the amount of investors that I know, this is huge. And it all came together at the perfect time because, Jay, when I finally was introduced to this Express Offers, the platform for the investors. So thank you for hanging in there. This is what to me clicked. And I said, I got to run with this. And you and me started talking, saying, let's just get the word out slowly. Let's do a couple of webinars. God, I have over 174 people from last week alone that I need to follow up with. So we got to pause the brakes on this. Like, after this webinar tonight, we got to slow it down. I got to get back to all those people and let's see who's going to work with us and get on the team, et cetera. And then we'll pick it up in a little bit. But guys, if you're an investor with this Express Offer platform, if you never get your license, if you don't have your license, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to get deals, because I can tell you that things have changed, Jay. Things have changed nationwide. And one of the biggest complaints I'm getting from the investors, former coaching students, mentoring students, et cetera, around the country is it's getting harder and harder to find deals. And they're spending more and more money on marketing, on the yellow letter campaigns, on the NOD leads, pre-NODs for the short sales, Facebook ads, whatever they're doing, it's costing them more money and they're getting less of a result because it's becoming a more crowded space. So to have the ability, Mr. or Mrs. Investor, to be a part of this network that Jay and I are creating, even if you don't have your license, to get these offers and get into this platform is going to be huge. Now, is it something you could click sign up today? No, I promised you guys that. And it's not even something you have to pay for. But it's just, this is just putting the information out there. But I got to say this, One of the biggest things I always taught the investors, hey, Brian, do I need my real estate license to work with you, to be, to be a student, to learn how? No, you don't need it, but I highly, highly suggest you get it. Forget everything we've talked about tonight. To be an investor and not have your real estate license, to me, is insane. Go take the 2-week crash course, take the nights and weekends, take 6 weeks, get it. You get the MLS, you're one of the brotherhood. The realtors are going to receive you better when you talk to them. I'm a realtor too. So it's a great thing all around. But now, guys, ladies, if you're an investor and if you don't have your license and you're watching this, what a better reason to go get it? Because how many realtors do you know? How many realtors do you work with that you can say, hey, I'm an agent now too, and by the way, look where I hung my license. Check this out. And then you show them one of these webinars or put them on the phone with Jay or myself and build your team so you're building another stream of income. It's another passive income stream.
Right.
So anything you want to add to that, Jay?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, I think I agree 100%. If you're calling yourself an investor and you don't have a real estate license, there's two streams of income. One is the commission you're letting other people make whenever you do a deal, and the other is the passive income opportunity to build something passive along the side. Not to mention the stock and all that kind of stuff and everything else.
Right.
But that's a no-brainer. I think everybody should do that. And what I would say is this is the analogy I always use. This was me. When the first person that it was a year, two different people. One person I highly respected, I still didn't look at it as closely as I should have. The first person I didn't know at all. But my takeaway after him, he was blabbering about the stock and this and the other, and how excited he was I was like, man, you should build ownership into your business model. That was I was trying to take away what I was getting from him and add to what I was doing instead of really truly looking at the model. It wasn't until Al said poke holes in it, when I was really looking at it, really trying to poke holes in it, that I really understood it. And so I did a video that's short that you can go to and watch the video. I'll give you the URL. It's 7-Figure Agent. You spell it out, 7figureagent.com. And it's just a walkthrough of the business model. It's the real estate business model. So if you're in real estate, you should definitely go watch that. And even if you're an investor, you should probably go watch that and just understand the business model. But I think for the most part, the reason why people don't investigate it deeply and really truly try to, and I studied business models because we were a big enough company that I had to figure out what the hell we were trying to do. And we're all like fish. We're underneath the water, and we don't understand anything above the water because we ain't never been above the water, because that's our environment's been below the surface of the water. And you really need mentorship or you need some guidance once, to see things that are above the level that you've ever been before. And I've always had really good mentors, and that's helped me break through places and get to higher levels that I probably never would have otherwise even understood, because I didn't know the things I didn't even need to know to be able to do it. And so I think this business model is one of those things that you just don't truly understand it yet. And until you really, truly, really try to understand it, which means, do the research, take the time, do the work, do the homework yourself, and then, seeking truth. Is this a better business model? Is this a way for me to earn with less investment out of pocket and create a retirement for myself, whether it's, through the stock or it's through the passive income side of things? Is this a better place for me to have a real estate license if I'm going to have it? Do that homework yourself, and I think you'll come to the same conclusion that you want to have a conversation with us about it, which is what ultimately it took me doing that research to finally see it. So I would say, go to 7figureagent.com, watch the video, and then ask questions. Get on the phone with Brian and myself, and
there's a way, guys. There's a way that I can actually know if you want more information and you go watch the video. Isn't there a drop down that could pick my name?
There'll be a drop down, and your name's in there, Brian Meara. So select your name, and that way that we know that it'll let us know that you watched it.
And dude, people are so skeptical, guys. There's no place to put your credit card. Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing to buy. That's the best thing about this whole model. I went from selling $10 million worth of stuff a year to I don't sell anything. I mean, our $25,000 mastermind, which is in Key West, in 3 weeks, is basically $300 the cost of your food. That's it. Right. That used to be a $25,000 gig. Why is it free now? Because we're all in EXP, and I want you to bring your friends, and I want to recruit them all. You know what I'm saying? We're going to, that's the bottom line. It's it only makes sense for me to align anything of value I can give you, I'm going to give you if you join us at EXP. So it's a blessing, honestly, because it's way more fun for me to not have to sell you something than to have to try to sell you something.
Dude,
it just is.
Let me pause right there. That's so huge, because a lot of people on this list, they've gone on all these guru webinars, and listen, you and I were both educators.
Yeah.
We had our $25,000, $50,000 coaching programs, our courses. We had And what we're saying now is specifically for you on the real estate side is what people used to pay a lot of money for, they're now getting for free because they're a part of your team and you have a built-in incentive to want to help them grow.
Right.
That's
because
absurd.
the financial model of the XP compensates me a little bit. The bottom line was this last month was there was 2,000 agents. It's 20, almost 2,400 now, but it was 2,000 agents upon my last payday, which I get paid about the 21st. So just drop into my account. It was 2,000 agents. They did about 1,000 deals, and I made about $117 off of each one of those deals. That was how I got paid. So I make a little bit of money off of a couple of deals that you do throughout the year. But the behavior changes for me is I'm going to give everybody everything. I don't know who's going to close deals, but I want you to all close deals. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to help everybody with closing more deals, and I want to help everybody with agent attraction. If you want to if you want to focus on agent attraction, I'll spend more time with you because I can help. That's a multiplier effect. But that's just the opportunity. It's never existed anything like it before. I mean, but it's it makes everything a win-win.
It turned everything on its head, man, because for agents watching this, they always want to learn how to be better and how do I get more listings? How do I work with more buyers? How do I brand myself better? And you're just giving them everything. You're like, oh, here's all my systems. Go learn them. Because the more deals they close, the more EXP pays you a little percent. I think it's brilliant. I really think it's brilliant.
Right. Joe Pringle just made a comment, 1% of 100 people's efforts versus 100% of your own. Always better going with the 1%. It's so true.
Yeah, it is true. And Joe's a good guy. Joe, I've been investing with Joe for many years. Good friend of mine down in Orlando right now. But guys, we want to keep this short. It's 8:42. We've been on this about 40 minutes. We're done. The next step is two things. Keep an eye out for an email. It's sevenfigureagent.com, right?
Yep.
Spell it out, not the number, at seven-figure agent. Yep. If you are an attendee on tonight's webinar, I have that you registered and attended. So I'll run the report. Probably not tonight, to be honest, probably tomorrow. I'll get an email out to you guys. So keep an eye out for your email. I'll put the link to the seven-figure agent. Also put a link to some information as far as how to get in touch with me, get on my calendar, Jay's calendar, get a call set up, and let's just have a conversation. If it's a good fit,
right.
It's a good fit. If it's not, it's not. You took 40 minutes of your life. But I think that it's something worth looking into to mutually benefit. It's going to benefit everybody. And so we all win. Any closing comments or anything you want to give out there?
Man, I'm just it's all the thing that I've been enjoying about this most is the caliber of people that I get to work with, like you, Brian, and it's just always a pleasure to work with people that get it. And what I've seen is that this attracts the right kind of people that get it. Smart people do the research. Smart people want to be involved. Smart people take action. And that's just the coolest thing about it. So it's a privilege, honestly, to be on here with you, talking to your audience of people, and looking forward to getting to know some of you guys and gals, and working with you guys in the future.
Well, likewise, and it's so funny how these two worlds collide, and there's so much of an overlap, guys. And with everything Jay's done, like I said, it's almost like you get to cut the line. You get to work with somebody like this and get the systems, get the training just for your agent business. Forget recruiting anybody. And some people say, well, I'm not a Jay Kinder. I don't know if I can get, all these agents. Well, what if you just had an extra $500 a week or $500 a month or $2,000 a month? It's a matter of creating a passive income stream that you probably don't have now. And if you do, why not add another one? It's a no-brainer, So anyway, on that note, guys, have a great night. Jay, thanks again for your time.
Pleasure.
Guys, keep an eye out for an email from me. I'm going to get that out to you tomorrow. The link that Jay referenced, how to get in touch with us, and let's have a conversation, see if it's a good fit. And if it's not, thank you for your time. Have a great night. As always, God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Jay, we'll talk tomorrow.
Take care, man.
See you guys.